If you were a WWE fan in 2011, then you must have been exhausted because there was a lot going on. Edge retired, CM Punk began his mammoth WWE title reign after a slightly botched start, and oh yeah, some bloke called Dwayne came back. But hey, what about the matches? You know, the reason this whole wrestling thing exists in the first place? Well, funny you should ask. I'm Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic Wrestling, and these are the 10 best WWE matches of 2011. Join us. Number 10, The Miz vs. John Morrison on Raw. 2011 began with The Miz as WWE Champion. The A-lister had cashed in Money in the Bank in October and made his first televised title defense of the year on its first episode of Monday Night Raw. His opponent? A man who knew the champ very well indeed, his old tag partner and dirt sheet co-host John Morrison. Morrison, who was at the peak of his WWE popularity at the time, laid down the challenge for a Falls Count Anywhere match against his former best bud. Miz and Jomo made excellent use of the stipulation, fighting all around the arena and taking some gnarly bumps. Okay, it was mostly Morrison doing all the big stunts. Ain't no way 2011 Miz was going to hit a Starship Pain to the outside of the ring, eh? The villainous champion retained his gold after a skull-crushing finale on the floor, but Morrison had more than proven himself as a main eventer. Perhaps more importantly, Miz had just had a top-tier match as the top-tier star, which was a rare occurrence during his middling title reign. Number 9, the World Heavyweight Championship Elimination Chamber match at Elimination Chamber. Edge had only just begun his final reign with the World Heavyweight Championship when he was forced to defend it inside the Elimination Chamber. The Rated R superstar was joined in the gigantic steel playground by surprise entrant Big Show. I mean, how do you keep a 7-foot-tall man a secret? As well as Wade Barrett, Kane, Rey Mysterio, and a little baby Drew McIntyre. Look at his chubby cheeks. Mysterio and the champions started the match off and were the anchor for the whole bout as they survived right until the end. Their sequence to close out the battle, which Edge would win by the way, was easily the highlight as the former WWE Tag Team Champion partners rolled back the years. That's not to say that the other entrants were slacking. Big Show looked dominant, Barrett and McIntyre played brilliantly sneaky heels, and Kane went on a total rampage, eliminating both the world's largest athlete and the Scotsman within seconds of each other. There was even a bit of post-match fun when Christian returned from injury to save his best bud from an Alberto Del Rio beatdown. And as we all know, a bit of Christian makes everything better. Number 8, Alberto Del Rio vs. John Cena at Vengeance. Before CM Punk could properly begin his record-setting WWE title reign, the belt bounced around between Alberto Del Rio and John Cena for reasons that remain unclear to this very day. At Vengeance, the Mexican aristocrat was the defending champion against Cena in a last man standing match. In the match before, however, Big Show and Mark Henry had destroyed the ring with an unholy superplex, so this fight would take place in what was left of the squared circle. This already made it way more interesting than any of their other matches. Even with the wasteland visuals to one side, this was still a fantastic last man standing affair. Cena and Del Rio brawled anywhere and everywhere, which only added to the chaotic vibe, as it truly felt like either man could win and both were willing to go to extreme lengths to do so. Unfortunately, WWE were trying to make the Awesome Truth happen at the time, so Miz and R-Truth interfered to cost Cena the win. A disappointing blot on an otherwise fun match, and hey, at least it led to that Awesome Truth versus Rock and Cena match that everybody loved. Number 7, the SmackDown Money in the Bank ladder match at Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank 2011 was a very important show for reasons that we will get to later. Apart from one very obvious contender, there were plenty of shouts for Match of the Night, including the 2 ladder matches for Raw and SmackDown's respective briefcases. Whilst the Red Show's match was fun, even if it did give us Del Rio as the winner, it's the blue brand that we thought was just that little bit better. Fighting for the world's most coveted Halliburton were Heath Slater, Justin Gabriel, Wade Barrett, Kane, Sin Cara, Daniel Bryan, Sheamus, and Cody Rhodes. The action was fast, furious, and very well choreographed, delivering moments that were as narratively satisfying as they were beautifully brutal. Barrett, Slater, and Gabriel had a nice little Nexus reunion, while Sin Cara was damn near snapped in half by a Sheamus powerbomb through a ladder. All this led to D-Bry fending off Barrett at the top of the ladder to snatch the case and send the crowd into a frenzy. A fantastic fantastic match that helped set Bryan on his path to greatness, this wasn't just fun to watch, it was also pretty damn historical too. Number 6, Christian vs Alberto Del Rio at Extreme Rules. Let's keep the ladder match hype train going, shall we? You know you want to. After successfully defending his World Heavyweight Championship against Alberto Del Rio at WrestleMania 27, Edge made the heart-wrenching announcement that, due to a serious neck injury, his wrestling days were done. He retired as champion, meaning that a new holder of the big gold belt would be decided at the upcoming Extreme Rules. In one corner, Alberto Del Rio, the man who had missed out at Mania, and in the other, Christian, Edge's best friend of many years who was fighting for his honor. This was bound to be good, right? Right? Oh wait, it actually was. Phew. Christian had made his name in ladder matches, so naturally put on quite the show in this one. And his opponent didn't do too badly either, as both put a shift in and their bodies on the line. With a big-time assist from his kayfabe brother, Christian made the climb and unhooked the gold, marking his first World Championship win in WWE. Sorry, ECW title. High-flying, high-risk, and highly emotional. This was everything it needed to be, and more. Number 5, Christian vs Randy Orton at Over the Limit. After Christian won the world title in honor of his fallen friend, WWE booked him to have a long and illustrious run, putting on great matches and defeats. Just kidding, he lost the belt to Randy Orton on that week's SmackDown. Well, that was fun while it lasted. At the next pay-per-view, Over the Limit, the Viper and Captain Charisma had their first of many title rematches in a feud that would help define the company's summer. Despite them not having spent much time working together, Orton and Christian had instant chemistry, their styles and personalities meshing perfectly to create a very exciting big match vibe. Christian was great at playing the hard-done-by good guy, whilst Randy, who was in his prime snake mode, excelled as the cocky champ who could back it up in the ring. After overcoming the nefarious heel, the valiant babyface challenger dodged a punt kick, hit Orton with a spear, and okay, I'm kidding again. He actually lost after Orton countered the kill switch into an RKO, but honestly, the match was so good that nobody really minded that much. I have a feeling we'll be revisiting this rivalry. Number 4, CM Punk vs The Miz vs Alberto Del Rio at TLC. After months of needless dicking around, CM Punk finally got started on his 434-day run as WWE Champion at Survivor Series 2011. 1 month later, he put the belt on the line against the man he had beaten for it, Alberto Del Rio, and The Miz, who was just sort of there. This feels like a pretty random assortment of characters, but like dipping fries into a McFlurry, this odd combo weirdly worked. Miz and Del Rio were both heels, which stacked the odds against the super babyface champ. All three workers interacted with each other for most of the match's runtime, which isn't always the case in WWE three-ways, and there were plenty of cool spots too, such as Del Rio locking in his armbreaker finisher on Miz with the assist of a ladder, then another to Punk with the assist of a chair. Punk overcame being handcuffed to the ropes to hit a GTS on Miz and then pull down his beloved prize to end a match that nobody expected to be as good as it was. See, just because something looks strange doesn't mean it can't be fun, which is definitely not on my bio on dating apps. Number 3, Christian vs Randy Orton at SummerSlam. Told you we'd be back. After months of back and forth, the Canadian and Missourian squared off at SummerSlam, this time with Mr. Cage going in as World Heavyweight Champ. Christian had become desperate in his quest to become a 2-time champion, winning the belt back after Randy Orton was stripped of it via DQ. This slight heel turn added a new dynamic to their SummerSlam encounter, which was made no disqualification in another tantalizing move. The raw magnetism between these two had now been bolstered by the experience of several high-profile matches, making this clash the best of the bunch. It felt suitably epic, like a major feud ender should, as the two gladiators threw everything at each other in an attempt to end this chapter of their lives as the victor. Such a big match deserved a big finish too, which is exactly what it got. Christian went to hit a diving attack on Orton, who quickly countered with his trademark 3 letters to drill the champion hard onto the steel steps. One pinfall later, and the Apex Predator was champion once more. Number 2, The Undertaker vs Triple H at WrestleMania 27. After a series of vignettes that were definitely not originally meant for Sting, The Undertaker returned to WWE on the February 21st episode of Raw. However, he wasn't the only icon who made a comeback that night. Triple H also returned to set up a match with the Deadman at WrestleMania 27. Fueled by the retirement of his best friend Shawn Michaels the year before, the game was determined to destroy Taker's legacy, and he came within inches of doing so. With no rules to hold them back, the pair put on a show that somehow surpassed their excellent clash at WrestleMania X7 10 years earlier, mainly because this one wasn't ruined by an obvious crash pad. The Cerebral Assassin kept looking like he was going to win, only for the Phenom to summon all of his strength to kick out, including an outstanding near fall off a tombstone which left everybody in the building speechless. Eventually, Taker got lucky when he trapped Trips in a Hell's Gate for the win. This was a proper scrap that ended with the feeling that perhaps the better man hadn't actually won, making it one of the most exciting entries into the street canon. Number 1, John Cena vs CM Punk at Money in the Bank. I mean, what else could it possibly have been? Money in the Bank 2011, Chicago, Illinois. Well, Rosemont, but close enough. John Cena, to some the living embodiment of everything wrong with PG-era WWE, versus CM Punk, the voice of the people who had shaken the company to its very core with his career-defining pipe bomb. This is the stuff legends are made of. In terms of actual ring work, this match is far from perfect. It's actually a little bit botchy if you watch it back, which is surprising considering the caliber of those involved, but nobody cared one bit. This was all about the story, the location, what it meant for the very future of wrestling itself, and in that regard, it was perfect. When Punk pinned Cena to win the WWE Championship, everyone lost their minds. This new champ was about to leave the company and take the belt with him. What the hell did this mean? Well, it meant 8 days of nothing and then a crappy return, but shut up. It might not have delivered the lasting change we were all hoping for, but John Cena vs CM Punk from Money in the Bank 2011 is still synonymous with WWE drama at its very best.